Welcome back, NoDQ Galaxy, to a brand new NoDQ review, number 295. We're getting ever so close to episode 300, which will happen probably in September sometime, early September. But here we are, 295. This week's elite panel. Aaron Rift is here, Jeff Meacham is here, and Big G. Big G, you were always happy to be here. Then it was hard to get you on for a while because of your work. Now it seems like you can be on every week. You might be the new Mr. Reliable. That's all I got to say. Anyway, Walter's doing something else right now. He'll be back one day. Gentlemen, what's going on? Jeff Meacham, what's up?
Always glad to be part of the NoDQ review. Yes, Walter is being my Mr. Reliable tonight. He's going to be on the watch-along call with Noah Foster for NXT tonight. So I appreciate him doing that for me and appreciate the opportunity to step in and fill flaky gaps tonight. So thank you guys for letting me be part of the craziness on a Tuesday night.
Hey, and Walter said ahead of time, hey, I can't do it Tuesday night because I'm doing this. Instead of saying, hey, guys, I'll be on your show. And then less than an hour before the show, guys, I can't do the show. We get that laugh from some people.
Nerve of some people.
Yeah, but I always end up letting them back at some point. Like, I don't know. It's like an addiction. I got to see TJS so I can get him to giggle.
Did somebody get the number of that bus that just went by? Holy shit. Anyway.
Big G, what's up?
And not much. Work, school. We had some interesting topics. It's been a slow news week, but we came up with some interesting topics for this week. So I'm ready to go.
We always do. I think we could have did one Sunday night, but I wasn't feeling it, and I wanted Raw to happen.
Right.
And I was kind of inspired by one of our topics, and then I think some new news broke, and now we have a show. Aaron, what's going on?
I'm doing pretty well. We could have done Sunday night, considering there was news about Bobby Lashley and MVP potentially leaving WWE, but we decided to do it tonight. And programming note, we will be off NoDQ review until the Tuesday after SummerSlam. That's 2 weeks from now. We'll be back with the NoDQ review, but we will keep the content coming on the NoDQ channel. We got the NoDQ review tonight. I'll be recapping Blood and Guts on Wednesday night. And then Friday night at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, I will be doing a special edition of NoDQ&A video, bringing it back by popular demand. So tune in for that this coming Friday night, 1 hour before SmackDown, which is taped. I'm not recapping SmackDown. Go check out the spoilers on NoDQ.com. But yeah, we got that coming up. And then next Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, we'll be doing our prediction. So I got all that out.
There you go.
It's NoDQ review time. We got some topics. Let's get to it.
And all of that allows me to go take some time away where I don't have to worry about doing a show for a week. So thank you, Aaron.
Yep.
All right, first topic. Let's discuss wrestlers, sports entertainers. Obviously, people don't really use that term much anymore with Vince McMahon being gone, but doing TV love angles. And, you know, there's always a thing called Hollywood where actresses and actors who are happily married or with somebody act and they do romantic scenes on TV and nothing ever comes of it. But sometimes it does. And we've heard stories in the past. And wrestling, like, they're wrestlers, they're athletes, they're entertainers. There's a part of acting to this. But, man, they're really going with this full-fledged storyline and having, you know, Liv Morgan, Dominic, Rhea Ripley, the love triangle is going on. Is this good for, like, granted, they could always say they don't want to do something if they're uncomfortable with it. But if we remember back to some things with Bobby Lashley, Lana, and Rusev, Lana's no longer with Rusev. I'm just saying this entertainment business, when you do this kind of stuff, these people are all with other people, but yet they're acting. Are they really acting? Big G, what is your thoughts here? Because, like, it's wrestling, and I know back in the day we had Hogan, Miss Elizabeth, the Macho Man, but I don't remember, you know, and I don't remember this type of stuff. And yes, I was a big fan of the Attitude Era, and the Attitude Era started getting the raunch. But what's your take on this? Because we all know, we know too much of these wrestlers' real life. So we know Rhea Ripley, she just got married. Dominic just got married.
Yeah.
I don't know if Liv Morgan's with anybody, but here they are on TV. Are they acting? I mean, yes, they are.
Yeah.
But life on the road, does that what's your thoughts on that?
Well,
Entertaining.
to not sum this up, but just to start off, as my father always called it, it's a male soap opera. And this is exactly what we are getting right now. We are getting a soap opera. We are getting a love triangle with Rhea, Dom, and Liv. But we've seen this, and like you just mentioned with Hogan, Savage, and Miss Elizabeth. Go back to 2005 with Edge, Lita, and Matt Hardy. And we all knew Edge and Lita, or Matt Hardy and Lita, were dating. And I don't know if it was because of the storyline that broke them up, and then Edge and Lita started dating, and all this stuff. But I mean, I find it entertaining, and they are acting. They get their scripts, they get their lines, what they have to say, and stuff like that. They have to memorize it. But yeah, I'm enjoying the storyline, and now we're adding in the possibility of Jey Uso hitting up on Rhea Ripley. We got SummerSlam coming up. Could we see, Dom pretty much told Liv that he hates her last night, but could we see a swerve and Dom actually helping Liv Morgan at SummerSlam next week, Saturday? But, like I said, I'm enjoying it. We've seen this in the past before. I'm sure we'll see it again down the line. So I'm totally fine with it.
I'm putting you as Dominic Mysterio. You're Dominic Mysterio. Okay. And you're in the storyline. What do you think your wife would say? Like, hey, honey, it's work. Go do your thing.
I mean,
would you guys have a discussion over this?
Let's think about Hollywood, where actors and actresses have to kiss. I'm sure the real life husband and real life wife talk about it and say, it's part of the business. We're gonna kiss. There's love scenes where they're basically pretty much not having sex, but like getting naked and getting physical. So, and that's exactly what they're doing in WWE. I'm sure everybody's cool with it. It's like you said, if they weren't fine with it, they would say, I'm not fine with it. Can somebody else be part of the storyline? And I'm sure Buddy Matthews is like, hey, if this is getting Rhea TV time, Dom's new wife, hey, if this is getting him TV time, go for it. Because they're always going to go back to the ones that they love. So,
and remember, you're not traveling together and all that. But yeah, I mean, right, the word professional should be used. But we've had several instances where, and you've mentioned some.
Yeah, like with Edge and Lita and Matt Hardy. Yep.
And it's just like, man, could it, even if there was just that small microscopic chance, and I guess, your significant other can go to any workplace and something could happen, especially WWE headquarters a couple of years ago. But anyway, Big G, thank you for your thoughts there. And are you invested in this match now? Is this match official? Liv and Rhea? Are you invested in this match? I'm invested for SummerSlam, for the title, even more because of these soap opera things going on? Be honest.
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
I am.
Fair enough. All right, Jeff. You've seen all the wrestling stuff, all these kind of angles, all the years. You've heard stories and this and that, and have at it on this one.
Yeah, I will always remember the Macho Man and Miss Elizabeth. One of my earliest memories as a fan was WrestleMania 7 and the big reunion between the two of them. That still brings a tear to a glass eye. Even it was so beautiful. God, my camera's smudgy as shit. Anyway, sorry, just haven't noticed that. I'm for it. I actually was staying with my sister and brother-in-law over the weekend, and he asked, the brother asked me, like, what is the appeal of it? And I couldn't really answer him. It's other than what Big G said. It's a male soap opera, Yes, you got the guys that are athletically inclined as hell. You can do all these incredible things in the ring, but it's their ability to adapt to the story stuff that makes it worth my hour or 2 hour, whatever it is, commitment every week to the different shows, sometimes more. So I'm loving this story. It's so funny to me to look back at everything that Dominic Mysterio has been a part of the last almost 20 years now, between the thing with Eddie Guerrero and then the CM Punk story, and now he's been involved for a few years. Dom is for me the most complete, evolved developed character I've seen on WWE television in a long time, and I'm so happy for him that he gets to be part of this. He's arguably the most hated guy in the company as far as character wise. Poor kid can't talk, 3 words, save his own ass. It's beautiful.
And how do you get him to be hated more, Jeff? Have him have the on-air
Having-
romance with Rhea Ripley, and then potentially moving to Liv Morgan. That'll make the haters like more bitter. Like they want to live vicariously through Dominic, so they're gonna boo him because he doesn't deserve that.
Yeah. After last night, I am convinced that's going to happen at SummerSlam because there was no reason for him to go off on Liv the way he did if they weren't already, involved. And the fact that he ghosted Rhea for while she was gone, or however that was phrased last night, it's like, man, it's so silly that this is compelling television, but it is. It's like I said, the soap opera angle. It's beautiful. I remember
how much will they ramp it up on Netflix?
God, like it's great. Like I don't know if they've committed to going back to 2 hours, but when they get there in January. But man, Netflix with that lack of filter, that's going to be fun, man. I can only imagine Adam Copeland looking at the Netflix deal and going, damn, because his stuff with Lita would have been just off the charts.
Jeff, what do you think made Dominic, like what single event over the last few years was like, this was the moment that made him into like this character where people were buying into it, or at least playing along with it? Because early on, people were like, man, look at him. He's skinny. He doesn't hold how can he live in his dad's shadow? And here he is.
This may be biased on my part because I was there, but his whole presentation to WrestleMania in LA last year really
was that the prison entrance?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that I agree.
Yeah, he came and I was out of the arena part. I was off on a phone call. But when I came in, I could hear the music and hear I could feel the crowd just growing viscerally angry. I'm like, what the hell? And I walk in and there's the entrance and I'm like, man, whatever else they say, he's over. And people wanted his head. I think that was it.
It's definitely entertaining, and I have no problem with it. I'm a fan of the Attitude Era. Just like to bring this up for discussion and see people. Obviously, they love it because everybody says there's nothing wrong with it. And in today's 2024 world, how dare they expose sex like that and this and that? But I'm glad the wrestling community of the NoDQ Galaxy aren't those people. Aaron Rift, I'm going to pass it over to you.
It's being used properly, in my opinion. It's being used to advance a storyline and make money, and it doesn't feel cheap. Some of the stuff we saw during the Attitude Era and even during the Ruthless Aggression Era, it felt like a cheap ratings ploy, no real thought process behind it. It's just Vince McMahon going out there and being like, well, let's put some half-naked women out there and have them wrestle in the mud. There was really no interesting story. It was just done to get ratings. And yes, obviously doing this stuff is intended to draw in viewers, but I feel like it serves more of a purpose. And I'm really enjoying it. And going on what Jeff said, I think not just the joining of Judgment Day helped out Dominic Mysterio, but to me, like the one segment that I think really cemented it as being important for Dominic's rise in WWE. I think the angle they shot, I think it was Thanksgiving when Dominic first got arrested.
Yeah,
they did that skit, and I watched it. And I'm like, wow, they actually put this up on Thanksgiving. And then I'm watching it. I'm like, well, this is really entertaining. And then they followed it up with Dominic coming out there and talking about doing hard time. And to me, that's the moment they really struck gold. Like it started with the heel turn, but I think when they did that angle with Dominic showing up at the house and getting arrested, that's when like the floodgates of creativity opened, and then he started dressing up like a convict and all this entertaining stuff he did. It was great. And as far as these storylines go, it is a job at the end of the day. It is acting, but you have to think that sometimes real emotions can get mixed in. And sometimes, as they say, life imitates art. People end up getting close that are coworkers. And then before you know it, things escalate. It happens. And I really think there needs to be a lot of trust with relationships in order for it to work. And look at Buddy Matthews. He's not even in the same company as Rhea Ripley, yet it seems to be working out for them. They apparently trust each other, and as long as that's there, I think they'll be okay. Hopefully there's communication and honesty both ways, and they look at it strictly as a job, and I think that's how it's playing out right now. But you never know. Things can happen. We've seen relationships fall apart in wrestling over the years. It's happened many times, Jeff.
Matt and Lito was a great example. You know, Edge and Lito were on the road together while Matt was hurt, and then it turned into a thing, and they were able to rein it in and make a story out of it after the fact. And I guess Matt and I guess the Hardys and Adam Copeland are now, you know, okay now. But man, we recently passed the anniversary of when Matt, you know, gate crashed Raw, you know, talking about Ring of Honor and Lauren Ice and all that. That was about as real as it got for those couple of weeks, because Matt was legitimately fired basically to keep the peace within the company, and he worked himself back into a job. It was beautiful.
Yeah. Darren G brought up Triple H and Stephanie. That started off as a storyline that turned very real. And ultimately ended a relationship. Yeah, so it can happen, and hopefully everybody's happy. Dominic, Rhea Ripley, or not Dominic and Rhea Ripley, Dominic and his fiance, and then Rhea Ripley and Buddy Matthews, and they just got married. So seems like they're doing good. All the best to them. You know, it makes for great entertainment on television, and I hope we get more of these types of stories. I'm enjoying it, and I'm looking forward to what happens next.
All right, let's move on. I want to point out, too, it must be nearing the end of the month because there's not much activity from Psycho Jet Black. Anyways, Bobby Lashley, MVP, some rumors about leaving WWE, and when we hear that, we all know what happens. Will Tony Khan open up the pocketbooks? Could the Hurt Business, or whatever they would be called over there, reunite over there in that company? Bobby Lashley, he's had the title, he's had big matches, but you know, again, he's a journeyman. He's been in TNA, and why not take a chance in AEW and get paid good to do it, which I'm sure he would be. And when I say journeyman, it's not a bad thing. Bobby Lashley has done a lot in major wrestling companies on TV, and he's been pushed to the top. So good for him. Jeff, what are your thoughts here?
Yeah, I think it would work. And again, it doesn't seem like Shelton Benjamin's been signed by AEW, so I don't know if that would be a Hurt Business thing or if it'd be more of just a Lashley and MVP thing. I thought they worked very well together when they were paired together in WWE. I thought there was a lot more, you know, proverbial meat on that bone, and they chose not to showcase it for whatever reason. You know, I don't run WWE, I don't know, but I don't know where either of them are in their head at that point. It's very clear MVP wants nothing to do with WWE anymore because he went on his little social media stance against Triple H and alleged a lot of shit you can't really take back at this point. But with Lashley, I think Lashley is one of those guys that it seems like he's done everything he can in his career, and he seems content. He's been in TNA, so that's always an option too. But it really depends on where Lashley's at his head. If Lashley's still in the mindset of I can still make money, then he'll go make money. If he's in the mindset of, you know what, I've done what I wanted to do. I came back to WWE. I had the run. I was the champion. I was a champion at WrestleMania, which was something he always wanted to do, and he retained, which was even better for him. I think that if he's content with it, then good on him. I just can't make my brain do the I'd be happy at AEW thing right now because there's so much of a train wreck going on still with people that run creative there. So I wouldn't be happy if I was Bobby Lashley going to AEW personally. But
yeah, okay, well that's fair enough. I mean, look at a lot of the people that have went over there, and
right,
some got opportunities, some it just died on the vine. And
yes,
Lashley probably would be more like, look what happened with Rusev there. Like you would think they would utilize him properly, but there's a good, I would say more times than not that Tony Khan didn't use people properly.
Yes.
Jump ship. But anyway, Big G, what do you think here?
I mean, On MVP, possibly yes. I mean, the only thing that he was really doing was with Almost and being a manager for that, and we don't know where Almost is at. He hasn't been seen in the past couple months. Bobby Lashley, I mean, he could go to AEW if he wanted to, if the money was right. But look at AEW with all their big guys. I feel like Tony Khan. I feel like Tony Khan likes his high flyers, and the big guys. They go there for a while and then they dissolve. They don't exist. Look at Wardlow. I mean, Hobbs. Yeah, I mean, he did some stuff. Look at Lance Archer. Look, there's so many big. Look at Keith Lee. I mean, I know he's got health problems, but all the big guys, I feel like they flopped in AEW. So I mean, he could stay in WWE if he wants to be more of a to help the younger talent, like he was doing with the Street Profits. I like them with the Street Profits, but he could go back to TNA and finish up his career in TNA. I mean, he had a good couple years there in TNA. So, we could talk about this forever and ever, but ultimately, it's up to where Bobby Lashley and MVP want to go.
You don't think there's a good angle if he comes over and forms a group, and even like Swerve Strickland joins it? I mean,
I could see that. I could see that possibly happening. I mean, with Swerve and Prince Nana.
For feuding against them.
Or yeah, that too.
Yeah.
But and maybe Shelton Benjamin eventually gets signed, and they could do something like Hurt Business wise. But like I said, it's all up to them to make their decisions.
So are you putting Bobby Lashley in the WWE Hall of Fame at some point?
Oh, definitely, yes.
I mean, he did win a match for Donald Trump at WrestleMania, who is a Hall of Famer, by the way.
Could they get Donald Trump to induct him into the Hall?
Oh, Lord Jesus.
Oh, gosh. No, I think Bobby Lashley's definitely served a Hall of Fame-worthy career in WWE.
Oh, definitely, definitely.
So, all right, well, thank you for that, Big G. Go ahead, over to you, Aaron. It's been pretty quiet, so say what you want to say on the topic, man.
All right, well, I'm not really surprised by the news that Bobby Lashley might be leaving. I feel like he's really done all there is to do in WWE, and people have been criticizing how WWE has utilized Lashley. And yes, the first year or two he was back, it was very lackluster. But then once the pandemic hit and he was paired up with MVP, Lashley's career turned around. And I think he had a very solid run. And keep in mind, this is a guy that was in his mid-40s when he won the WWE title. He was like 45 when he was champion. That's pretty old to be world champion in wrestling. He accomplished that. He had a solid couple of years. He feuded with Brock Lesnar, even beat Brock Lesnar, which not too many people can do. So I would say his run was overall very successful, and I don't really see what else there is left for him to do in WWE. I say if AEW is willing to pay the money, bring him in. But I think they have to do it right. You got MVP. I think MVP needs Lashley and Lashley needs MVP. To me, they're like a package deal. They're stronger together than separate. MVP is a great talker, but I think him and Lashley go together very well. And Lashley can do his thing. He can go out there and kick ass, but it's important for him to have a mouthpiece. And I would like to see a Hurt Business reunion. They might have to change up their name, but you bring in Shelton Benjamin and then maybe have a fourth guy who's a younger wrestler, elevate that person. I think at the end of the day, the goal should be to create a new star. And if you have a fourth person who is like the Randy Orton or Batista for Evolution, then it could definitely be successful. And yeah, maybe you could do an angle where you have Bobby Lashley and MVP try to recruit Swerve Strickland. He turns him down. And then you get Bobby Lashley versus Swerve Strickland for the world title. That's a possibility. And then maybe they find somebody like Will Hobbs to come in and be the fourth guy of their group, and Hobbs finally gets a push. Like, they push the guy, they don't push him. Maybe you find somebody else for that role. But yeah, I'm all for it. Doing a new Hurt Business. That's the one thing I will say. I think WWE did cut the group a little bit short. They cut it off a little too prematurely. I think they could have had a bit longer of a run, maybe a match with the Bloodline, or kept them around when the crowds returned. It felt like they should have been around once we got fans in the arenas again. Like, I only remember their peak being during the pandemic, and then they were pretty much done with once we got the fans back in the arenas. So yeah, I think WWE could have done a bit more with the group, and there might be a little bit, as Mark Henry might say, there might be a little bit of gas left in the tank of the Hurt Business. So we'll see what happens. And by the way, just like Joe Hendry, Psycho Jet Black is here. Say his name and he appears. I believe in Psycho Jet Black. Virtue, you got to say it.
I believe in Roman Reigns.
All right. Well, maybe we'll talk about Roman in a few minutes. And thank you, Psycho Jet Black. Psycho Jet Black sent in another $2. So he is here. Says Cedric Alexander and Omos should turn off their phones. Well, you know what's funny? WWE might not even cut Cedric just to make sure he doesn't go to AEW and join up with Bobby Lashley and MVP. Maybe they would do that just to screw with all of them. Omos, I don't think AEW would pick him up. Like, they already have Satnam Singh. They already have one giant that they barely do anything with. Why would they bring in Omos? Like, I just don't see that happening. Omos, unfortunately for him, I feel like he may have passed his peak as well. Without MVP, like, I don't see him having any kind of a role. Like, MVP was his talker and basically got him over. But without MVP, Omos probably doesn't have much of a future in WWE. And I don't think AEW will pick him up. And of course, TNA is an option. Bobby Lashley could go back there, but I just don't know if it would really make a difference. Lashley has already done TNA, been there, done that. Like, if he's going to keep going, I think AEW is the place, because it's somewhere he's never been before. It's a new chapter in his career, and AEW is at least on national television. TNA is not. They're on what's the channel, Jeff?
Access TV.
Access TV.
I watch him on YouTube and TNA Plus. I don't know. I think it's like Access. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think if Lashley's going to leave WWE, he should try to get that Tony Khan money and get that big payday, and hope that they'll utilize him well.
All caught up?
Yeah, we're all caught up.
Main event time. So we're heading into SummerSlam, and we don't have build on the card. Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar's gone, right? Rock is in Hollywood. John Cena's tour starts next year. And we have Cody Rhodes as the big name on the card. And official from last night, the other guy, CM Punk, is coming back. Think about that. I want you to just seriously sit here and think about these two guys that are the top draws in WWE for SummerSlam for the build card. Yes, there's the rumor that Roman could come back at the end of the show, but that's what's happening, people. And where did they used to be? And who mismanaged? Now, I'm not saying Cody was mismanaged, but we don't know everything that happened there. He might have ultimately always wanted to come back to WWE, and it was part of his plan. But a couple years ago, would you have said this? Like, before either one of them were in AEW, nobody would have said that they were going to headline a SummerSlam in two big matches like this. Nobody. And I'm kind of glad that Punk is cleared, because it needed him. Like me, I'm still not going without Rock and Roman and all that, but it makes me interested now in the show. I do want to get behind some of these younger wrestlers, but they just haven't got me there yet. So I need a Punk to draw me in. And it'll be great with him and Drew. I need Cody Rhodes, right, having this dominant run, because I want The Rock to come back and beat him, or have Cody drop it to Roman again. Whatever they do, I need these top stars. Big G. So this is a good thing last night. I was
Yeah.
excited, and we all knew it was probably going to happen.
Yeah.
Every week, every time we saw Punk, he looked better and better. The sling was off. He was moving that arm. He's pretty jacked for his, his size.
Yeah.
Take it away, man. Punk is officially on the SummerSlam card, and for me, it was much needed.
Yeah. I honestly thought, like, back at Mania when Punk took off his sling and knocked out McIntyre with it, I was like, oh my God, is CM Punk healthy? Is he cleared already? But good for CM Punk. We needed him to be on this card. I mean, the card is not really, I don't know. It is kind of lackluster, but it isn't. I mean, we have, like I said, CM Punk, Cody Rhodes. Rhea Ripley's getting up there. Liv Morgan's getting up there. The star power is there, but I think everybody is so used to having like the big names like Roman, Cena, Lesnar, Rock.
Yeah, didn't last year we had Roman and Brock both had matches last year?
Yeah. But I'm liking the card so far. I'm intrigued to see what's going to happen. I mean, you got Gunther, who's going to be challenging for his first world title on the main roster, and he's got the potential to be a big star in the next like 5 years or so. So is Damian Priest. I mean, I know they're all up in their like late 30s, early 40s already, but I feel like that's where everybody hits their star power. And look at McIntyre too. I think McIntyre is on the best run of his career. Ever since the Royal Rumble 2020. But yeah, like I said, I'm liking the card so far. I'm intrigued to see what happens. I'm glad Punk's healthy. But yeah, I would have never thought Cody and Punk being the two big headliners.
Who would you pick? So those two aside,
okay.
Who's the one wrestler on the card that would draw you in? Not those two.
I'd say Gunther.
Okay.
I said
took you a second to think about it.
Hey, I had to think about it because, like I said, I mean, Rollins is in there, but he's not really wrestling. He's a referee. But like, I'm trying to think of up and comers, and I say Gunther.
I'm getting Shawn Michaels vibes with this. Didn't Shawn Michaels ref some SummerSlam stuff in the past?
Yeah. I saw something on Facebook or X or Instagram.
Shawn
where
Michaels
they showed the clip of what had happened with him, Austin, and Taker, and like they had put Seth Rollins as Shawn. Oh, Brett Taker, yeah. They had put Seth as Shawn. They put, I think, Punk as Taker, and then McIntyre as Brett. So yeah. I kind of see something like that happening. Yeah.
So Gunther is your guy, and granted,
it's just something.
I know we all have to get behind some of these younger stars, or not top build stars yet. I know somebody's got to get there.
He's such a natural heel. Like, he plays it very well. He can talk on the mic. He can wrestle in the ring. He's got the entrance down. So I feel like he's got like everything.
Who do you think? There's more, and not Cody and Punk. Punk still has yet to do this, but I think he has a chance next year, maybe with the whole Cena thing. We'll have to see how that plays out.
Right.
Of all these other people, are you going to stick with Gunther? Who's most likely to headline a WrestleMania? Now, it's easier these days to pick somebody because you can say night one or two, and technically you would be right. But are you going to stick with Gunther in that situation? A future WrestleMania?
Yeah, I'm going to stick with Gunther. I can see him being a future main eventer.
Okay, fair enough.
WrestleMania.
Jeff, over to you. We're talking Punk. Cody is the big bill this year for SummerSlam. You can answer those same things that Big G did. Who would you like as your top wrestler? Not those two, and a future main eventer of WrestleMania. Have at it here. I was very relieved when Punk officially, even though we knew it was probably going to happen, I was very relieved that he's going to be on this card.
No, I agree. And while I like the card that's been built so far as you've got every match either being for a championship or having significant ties to the championship scene when you think about Punk and McIntyre with Rollins in there, all three, two of them being recent world champions, and of course Punk being the the star power you mentioned, Virtue, I really felt like SummerSlam was, even with the talent they have, it was still kind of feeling like, okay, when are we actually going to get this stuff into gear? When are we actually going to start feeling the reality that this is a SummerSlam? It's a big four. We need to feel that it's the biggest party of the summer. We need to have these kind of major happenings. And I unfortunately think Aaron put a great post up. It was either Friday or Saturday morning, boss, forgive me, about SmackDown just kind of feels here until Roman Reigns returns. I don't disagree with that. And it's unfortunate because Cody, as the WWE champion, suffers from that because he's on SmackDown and, battling this, as they've been labeled, bootleg bloodline, which, hey, they've been kicking everybody's ass. I'm not calling them bootleg bloodline. I'm not getting myself destroyed. I'm not doing that. The big question going around now is Solo ready? Is Solo going to be the guy? I don't think Virtue, you are causing trouble in the chat room. Shame on you.
I didn't Oops, I didn't mean to say that. Oh, crap. Oops.
I'm trying to get off air to do my show. Anyway. Shit.
Oh my god.
Whatever, it's all good. I go back to that moment that Cody told Solo he's not ready. And then I go back to him telling Solo, you're just a seat filler. I don't know if that's enough motivation in creative or whatever to make us think that Solo might actually win the championship. I really think this is all designed as a means to an end. It's unfortunate because Cody's just, like I said, kind of there until Roman comes back and goes after the bloodline. Once that shakes out, then we have, okay, where does Cody go from here? I am very surprised they have not even really hinted at Randy being Cody's next major challenger, because that's just money.
I think it will be at some point. Like, I'm really getting that vibe that the Solo Cody thing is to bring Roman back into the fold, create the bloodline thing. Then all of a sudden we're like, all right, this bootleg bloodline, there's no way. And then that's when The Rock hopefully can free up and heading like into next year, into WrestleMania season, grasp that and actually be the manipulator behind all that so we can set up the proper biggest match of all time in WrestleMania history, at least in the modern era. That's what I'm hoping this is leading to, Jeff.
Yeah,
small little increments.
Yeah, I have long wanted Rock and Roman because that's a win either way. Because if The Rock wins, then he's beaten every face of the company. Hogan, Austin, Cena, and Roman at WrestleMania.
Yeah. I'm still eating crow.
It's got to happen, though. You got off another year.
Yeah, but if Roman wins, then he's beating the guy that's beating everybody. So, and plus it's all family, and The Rock, even now, The Rock's the biggest star in the world right now. He's the biggest, he may not be making all the big blockbusters right now, but his money level is ridiculous. So, and it was stated last week in an interview, Cody was talking about it. If Rock ran for president, winning landslide, it's like, he's not wrong. That's how popular The Rock is. He could totally step in here and go, all right, all appreciation to Kamala, all appreciation to Trump. I got this country. Let's go. And he'd win because he's that popular and he's smart enough to put people around him to actually know what the hell they're doing.
Hey, I'd vote for him. I 100%
I would
vote
too.
for him.
100%.
Now, what Rock has going for him, like, again, if he's not hitting the big blockbusters in the theater with the Netflix, he's getting the Netflix deals. You know how they do. They pay actors to make stuff exclusively for them. And the WWE, that's where the money for Rock is going to be.
He's got a Christmas
WWE,
movie coming out.
Netflix exclusive series as well. It doesn't have to be a movie. And, it is what it is. I know some of his stuff in the past hasn't been the greatest, but I find myself more time than not entertained by anything I watch with The Rock from Hollywood. And even going back and watching some of the silly stuff like Baywatch, I find myself like, wow, that's so bad, it's good. That's what happened.
Yeah.
Things over time become cult classics. Yeah. And, I'm not going to say that about Doom, but, The Rock has had some very entertaining movies and different things that more than not. So to me, he's bona fide.
Yeah. I had a question for the chat room. Why is Cody versus Cena such a bad thought process? If John's on this retirement tour, why not?
I wouldn't mind it.
I wouldn't mind that match. I'm not saying John necessarily win, but John putting Cody over as champion would be great for Cody. But hey, if they want to have John be the guy to break the record for Flair, might as well beat the guy that's been on top for a year at that point. It'd be Cody. So I think that's a win-win either way, for me, at least for me as a fan.
Yeah. Well, thank you. All right, Aaron, I'm going to pass it over to you. And it looks like a couple super chats came in, even one accidentally by me. Go ahead.
Yeah,
be right back.
So Virtue accidentally sent in a super chat here. Must have misclicked. He said, "Get ridiculous after dark questions ready for Big G." So for those of you that don't know what NoDQ review after dark is, once we finish our wrestling topics, we do our plugs, and then people send in completely random super chats to screw with Big G, like they try to quiz him on things and see what he knows, what he doesn't know, and it makes for some fun, entertaining moments. So feel free to send in some stuff for After Dark, and we'll see how that goes. You guys want to keep us on longer than we were planning to. I mean, Jeff has his stream that's coming up with the NXT watch.
We're actually already live. I've got Walter and James kind of covering, so
there
whatever.
You go.
Well, we do got 20 minutes. We got plenty of time.
I know.
Yeah, we're good.
So 26.2 miles outside Parts Unknown sent in a $2 super chat. I'm not going to try singing this, but Jeff, if you want to go ahead and you know what, Big G,
I'll do it.
Believe in Jeff
Big G can sing it. There you go. That's it.
I believe in Jeff Meacham. There you go.
You know what? First of all, that's my favorite screen name on YouTube. That's one of my favorite things ever on YouTube is his screen name. I love that. And it actually flows with the theme song. Don't be surprised if we get a cameo for our year-end show from Joe Hendry singing that song. Just saying.
Oh, by the way, David Risch, go back and rewatch this from the beginning, and you'll get all our thoughts on Dominic and Liv.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Yeah, we opened with that, and now we're talking about SummerSlam on Friday, or was it Friday? Maybe it was over the weekend, but a few days ago, I put up the graphic of all the SummerSlam matches, all 5 SummerSlam matches that had been announced up to that point. Yeah. And most people responding were like, this card is kind of lackluster. It doesn't feel like SummerSlam. It feels like a B pay-per-view. So Virtue, I think CM Punk definitely helped elevate this card and made it more must-see. I'm glad we're getting this match and they're not delaying it any further. Dominic being in the mix with Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley, that's been entertaining. To me, that's the second most anticipated match for me personally. Yeah, Gunther, Damian Priest as well. Cody Rhodes versus Solo Sikoa. I did talk about this on the NoDQ&A video. I feel like it's just not vibing for me until Roman Reigns is back. That's what I'm waiting for. I'm just wanting to see the next step with Roman coming back and see where that goes, getting Jimmy Uso back in the mix. But I'm sure Cody will have some memorable title defenses. I don't see him losing the title. You could still do Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton, and of course, Cody Rhodes versus The Rock. But yeah, the card feels like a 7 or 8 out of 10 right now. And I wish I could say it was like a 9 or 10 out of 10 at SummerSlam. You know, it should feel bigger. It feels a little above your average WWE show. And to me, that's mostly due to CM Punk coming back and having his first singles match since, I believe, 2013, somewhere around there. Towards the end of 2013, because I know he was in the Rumble. That was his last match. And then he came back and was obviously, you know what? I mean, you could count Dominic at the house shows, but I'm talking about a televised or pay-per-view singles match. He hasn't had one in over a decade. So looking forward to that, and hopefully he doesn't get hurt. We saw several comments in the chat room about that. All right. We got a few other super chats here unrelated to that topic. So King Cray sent in $2. Thank you for that. Says, kept Bobby Lashley in the mid card and Roman Reigns never faced him. Now, Jeff, I thought Roman Reigns did fight Bobby Lashley.
Yeah, Survivor Series.
Yeah, I thought
champion
that did
versus
happen.
champion. Yeah.
But we never got the Hurt Business versus the Bloodline. I think that was the match that people wanted to see, like a Survivor Series match. It's too bad we never got that. But Bobby was pushed fairly strong
Yeah.
for the last several years. Like I mentioned earlier, he beat Brock Lesnar, and not too many people can say that. So I think he did well, and he had a great run for a guy who was over 45. Let's put it that way. You know, if he was 35, you could definitely argue that maybe they should have invested more in him. But, you know, at some point you really do have to focus on the younger talent. And, you know, talking about younger talent, Virtue brought up, like, who else is, you know, being looked at as the guy that's going to maybe main event WrestleMania one day. Braun Breaker. Like, they are pushing the hell out of him right now. And he seems to be the best bet out of everybody that's on the roster. And Gunther's definitely up there, depending on how his world title run goes. You know, he could be potentially a night one main event, but, you know, we'll see what happens with The Rock and Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes, what they're going to do for WrestleMania. Could The Rock potentially work 2 nights, wrestle Cody on one night, wrestle The Rock on the other night? I mean, we'll have to wait and see what they have planned. So we got a $2 super chat here from Darren G. Wants to know everybody's favorite SummerSlam match of all time. I'll go first. I have several. I love Bret Hart versus Mr. Perfect, Bret Hart versus British Bulldog, Bret Hart versus Owen Hart. See the pattern here?
Yep.
Bret was definitely Mr. SummerSlam in the early years. And CM Punk versus Brock Lesnar is one of my all-time favorites. I was there for that in Los Angeles. You know, that's definitely up there among my favorites. So Virtue, favorite SummerSlam match.
All 3 of those Bret ones. Gosh, I'd probably go Owen and Bret. That was in the cage, the blue cage, right?
Yeah.
That one is one I probably rewatched the most. I really feel that should have been Owen's title win.
I agree. Like, that would have been a great moment.
I don't know what happened there, but that one.
Yeah, they gave it to Backlund, so he dropped it to Diesel. I would have liked to have seen Owen at least get like a couple months with it and then drop it to Diesel, but you know, they went with Mr. Bob Backlund to give him that moment. But you know what? To be fair, we got that great performance from Owen Hart, tricking Helen Hart into throwing in the towel, and then
dude, that whole summer of Owen with WrestleMania 10, how he beat Bret won the title. He stared down Bret at the end of WrestleMania, and then led to that match. That would have just been a great culmination had they pulled the trigger, even if it was a short title reign for Owen. But that's why I always look back at that one.
Yeah. Jeff, do you have any favorite SummerSlam matches off the top of your head other than what I mentioned?
Yeah, like I said, the ones with Bret are great. Hunter and Rock in '98 and the ladder match at the Garden. That was good. Austin Undertaker in '98, despite the fact that Austin was knocked freaking silly for almost the entire match, and he still pulled off what he pulled off. That was great. You know, any of the ones that were here, I thought were pretty. They were fun. I mean, they were fun cards overall. I can tell you what was not a favorite was Lesnar and Cena from 2014. That was disturbing. I'm not a fan of that show.
Which one do you like better, Lesnar or Cena, or Undertaker versus Undertaker?
So
no,
I dislike Lesnar Cena more because of the impact it had on me. Yeah, Triple H and Shawn Michaels in 2002 and Rock and Bret, both those matches were just.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Those two matches definitely set the tone for, you know, the post Attitude Era, because those 2 matches coming at that SummerSlam showed us that we can move on beyond the Monday Night Wars and really have quality stories and great matches. So.
Big G, you got any?
I mean, I was going to mention Triple H versus HBK when HBK came back in 2002. It's one of my favorite matches. I'm just not real quick because I remember buying that VHS tape from SummerSlam 2002 as my first like wrestling VHS.
And in more recent years, I would also include Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar with the forklift and lifting up the ring and all.
Yeah.
That. And that whole show, like, being the first Triple H era WWE Premium Live event. So yeah, I like that one a lot too. There's a lot of great ones and definitely some not so great ones. But the question was, what were the best? We gave them. We got another super chat here from 26.2 miles outside parts unknown. Sent in $5. Thank you for that. What were your thoughts on S.A. Rios? Truly underrated, in my opinion. Also, why do you think WWE can't make the next Rey Mysterio? So many have come and gone. Well, there's only one Rey Mysterio. That's the thing. Some guys are like 1 in a million, and Rey Mysterio is that guy. They could have somebody with Dragon Lee, but Rey he had that persona that was able to captivate the audiences and make it work. And they're very quick to give up on guys too. But as long as Rey Mysterio's around, it's hard to top him, even when he's not quite at the level he was at before. Big G.
I was gonna say, I keep on hearing this on documentaries and stuff like that from wrestlers. Why do you want to be the next Rey Mysterio? You want to be the first you.
Yeah.
Yes, you can idolize him. You can kind of mirror him in a way, but you want to be your own character. Like people when all these luchadors come into WWE, they're like, "Oh, is this the next Rey Mysterio? Is this the next Rey Mysterio?" So they have to, when they do that, they have to like pretty much put Rey Mysterio on a pedestal and like, all right, well, now we got to go up to Rey Mysterio's level. But like I said, why be the next Rey Mysterio when you can be the first you?
Hey, Jeff, was S.A. Rios ever like paired with Lita? Why am I?
He was.
That's why he never got over. Lita blew him on.
Yeah.
Like it just, you were behind her shadow at that point.
Yeah. It's like Mark Miro and Sable.
Yeah, and it's one of those. They had him on the roster for a while. If you remember, he, in a different gimmick, Aaron wrestled Taka at WrestleMania 98 for the light heavyweight title, and SA Poppy, whatever you want to call him, he had the basic like charisma and able to connect, but he came in at the wrong time. If he'd have been the age he was when he came into WWE, like maybe 5 or 6 years later, would have been a different story. And they paired him with Lita, which was a mistake, like you said.
Right. Yeah.
I think they did that on purpose just to get Lita up there.
Well, I mean, maybe, but remember he defeated the unstoppable Gilbert for the title. So you've got to get the guy a rub, get him over like Rover there.
All right, Psycho Jet Black. You said his name. He appeared. So
yes.
Now we got Psycho Jet Black sending in $2. Darren G versus Big G. G-string on a pole match.
All right, Vince.
Okay.
Why G-string? Just because.
Okay.
Yeah.
As long as the string is up there and it doesn't have to be worn by the victor, I'm actually not opposed to that storyline. Jesus.
You broke Big G. Good job. All right. Psycho Jet Black said, why did WCW have Rey Mysterio remove the mask? Jeff, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I think Eric Bischoff had mentioned this, that he didn't think Rey was marketable enough with the mask and felt like he'd be more marketable without it. And that was a mistake.
His reasoning he's given a few times over the years was that he was more marketable when you can see his facial expression. It's like, dude, he looks like he's 12 years old.
Yeah.
Right.
The mask off. Like, what are we doing to this poor guy? It was so dumb. So dumb.
Yeah, it was an experiment.
Moving shoot also.
Yeah. Tried to make them more marketable, but you know what? It didn't work. And part of what made Rey special in WWE was the fact that he did have the mask, and they were selling a ton of those masks. Like that became a hot.
They still are.
And that's the thing, Aaron. WCW, even when they got as hot as they got, never really had their marketing department get behind anything except the NWO. So that's what they should have been selling. Replica Rey masks. They should have been selling Sting. Replica Sting everything.
Other than NWO and Wolfpack shirts.
Yep.
DDP was the only other one I remember seeing like a few shirts for.
Yes. Yeah. It was back.
Maybe, I don't even remember Goldberg shirts.
It was back in those days that you could go to places like Miller's Outpost and see the wrestling stuff before, like when you hadn't seen it before. And you got timed out because you were arguing with Darren G. I timed you both out if you read the messages there. So don't you be a snowflake. Calm your tits there, madam. Anyway.
All right, Aaron. Next.
Skips out. Watch for the shoe.
All right, Psycho Jet Black.
That's right.
Psycho Jet Black sent in $2. Thank you, Psycho Jet Black. Glad you could chime in tonight. It's always entertaining.
Yes.
Feed us these comments. Psycho Jet Black said, "Imagine being the next Alberto Del Rio or Ryback." I mean, what a couple of guys to pattern yourselves after.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that would be that.
I don't think anyone's imagined.
Talk about bad decision making.
Unfortunately.
Oh man.
Well, if you want, you can catch Ryback on TikTok every single day doing his live.
I'm sure you do, because I wasn't even aware that existed.
No,
It's on my
He's
For
like-
You page,
he's like
and I just
the-
scroll through it.
So he's not being hindered
He's like-
by TikTok, at least, because he says that Twitter tries to hide his content.
no, he's like Damien Demento was to us about 10 years ago, except Ryback just endures, whereas Damien actually finally went away.
Right. And same thing with Luther Reigns, another guy that just was annoying and thankfully disappeared into obscurity.
After almost killing us single-handedly.
Pretty much.
Damn him.
26.2 miles outside, parts unknown, sent in $2. Thank you for that. Says, whatever happened to kayfabe candy ass? He's in the chat room. He just doesn't watch that much wrestling anymore.
Does he
checks
still put
out
articles up?
Actually, he does every now
Oh,
and
yeah,
then.
once in a while.
Up on
Yeah.
NoDQ. I think he had one up a couple weeks ago, as a matter of fact. Planet Kayfabe. If you want, go on NoDQ.com, run a search. Planet Kayfabe. He's got some columns on there, and I think he had one up just a couple weeks ago. He's still around. He's just not.
Yeah, I think so.
He's just not as active as he used to be. But great guy though, and I've invited him to be on the
Great
panels, but, he doesn't. He prefers just writing the columns. He doesn't want to be on camera, but the door is always open if he wants to be on. And Michael sent in a $2 super chat. Says, "I want to be there next Rift Aronson."
He meant to say the next Rift Aronson.
I don't know if that's what he meant or not, but either way, kiss my ass, Michael, and thank you for the super chat. And,
Right. Rick
Jeff,
Jackson got dumped on his head and destroyed forever. Why do you want to be the next that guy? What's wrong with you?
You're making this Porky person very angry, Jeff.
Porky don't like me wearing. Porky don't
Where's
like me.
TJS?
Porky don't like me wearing sunglasses.
I want
Okay,
TJS
well,
on here
okay,
because
well.
he's laughing up a storm right now. We
All
can
right,
tell
that's fair. He's understandably upset for being timed out, and I explained in the chat why it was timed out. But since he wants to keep getting chiming, that's all, folks. Hang on a second, you're timed out longer now.
time him out again.
Where's my button at? I have the power.
Here comes the burner.
Great.
All right, guys.
Wait for it. Of course, the computer won't let me do it because the computer's running so slow right
What's
now.
up, Aaron?
And
You
the
caught up?
Z.
Yeah, we're caught up. So let's go ahead and do our plugs.
Yeah. Go ahead, Big G.
Yes, if Aaron wants to throw up the graph. There you go. YouTube, if you're a cat person, if you just love cats in general, Harley and Joker 2021. NoDQ _Big Biology on X, TikTok, Big Biology 1988, and on Insta, NoDQ _Big Biology 1988.
All right. Thank you for being on, Mr. Reliable. Ooh,
Yes.
All right. Go.
Ooh,
Jeff.
Walter.
So yes, we are, as I said, we're currently running a watch along of NXT. But tomorrow, if you don't want to listen to the president, to do his spiel at 8 p.m. Eastern, you can come watch us cover Dynamite because that'll be far more entertaining. It will be on tomorrow, of course. During that, we'll be on Thursday with content. We have content going on all week, so please check out the Jeff Fincher Network most of the media. But I'm looking forward to this. I don't usually look forward to AEW watch-alongs because they feature who they feature. But if with any luck, those EVPs will get screwed up beyond belief tomorrow. So I'll enjoy that thoroughly.
All right. Thank you, Jeff. And we're almost out here on time. Go ahead, Aaron.
All right. So as I mentioned earlier, I'm not recapping SmackDown on Friday. However, 7 o'clock, 1 hour before the taped SmackDown airs, I'm bringing back NoDQ&A video once again. So make sure you guys tune in and send your questions. NoDQMISC@gmail.com. Of course, you can super chat questions, which is always much appreciated. And make sure you guys get your questions in. And Big G, Michael's got this comment. We are in After Dark mode, so now it's just a matter of how long people want to keep us on. Michael said, Big G, how bad will Russell Wilson suck this season? Okay, is this a hockey guy?
No.
No.
Oh, basketball.
No.
Baseball.
No.
Okay.
Well, he did play baseball, but no. Michael, I will answer that question when it comes time for football season.
There you go.
That's cheap.
Hey.
You gotta commit.
Nope. Football season's not here yet.
Well, since he has a reputation as being bad, apparently, I'll say
No, he's not bad, but he's at that point where he might be over the hill from his peak. He won a super. He won.
Oh shit! I sent the wrong person. Oh yes.
Yeah.
Okay, Jeff. Don't give me problems by timeouting the.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Oh dear. Here we go. I'm gonna get emails now. Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat. Says, I want to vote for Rift and Meacham in 2028.
God no. Jeff didn't pay enough.
Well, Jeff, we should
imagine that cabinet they put together too with all the.
Oh my God, no! Like the job isn't
NoDQ
paying enough for the job is paying enough to cover my health insurance for the stress on my heart. Are you kidding me?
We'll have the big inauguration party at Disneyland with Mickey Mouse and
Christ. Oh my God.
We'll get Mick Foley to show up and praise us.
We're definitely after dark here.
We'll get X-Pac Sean Waltman to show up and
I didn't think we were going to hit an hour.
smoke a joint with us.
Can I get off the air and go to my show now, please?
All right, wait a minute. Psycho Jet Black. Okay, here's a serious question from Psycho Jet Black. Says, Virtue, your thoughts on Solo Sikoa's potential?
He's good, not a good little hand, like Dutch Mantel would say, but he's a very good henchman type guy, upper mid card, low end main event. With 2 titles, he could, with brand switches back, he could be a world champion one day for a short period of time. Nothing against him, but like that's just how I see him. Could he develop into a superstar? Yeah, Roman did.
I honestly think there's more upside in Jacob Fatu. Just his physical presence and his whole package. He just seems like he's got more potential to be a top guy. But Solo will have a decent run here with Roman, and maybe Roman can make him bigger than he was. Look at Jey Uso. Jey Uso went from being the Uso that nobody knew him apart from Jimmy, and then he's now a superstar.
To eating every night on Monday Night Raw.
Yep. Now that's what we'll do, Jeff, when we're elected
there you go.
vice president. Oh, he's had enough of this. So
No, I'm here.
He just wanted that little picture that said producer up there.
No, that's not what I said.
He's talent, damn it. All right. Virtue. Let's go ahead and get your plugs and we'll wrap this up.
All right.
Psycho Jet Black wants to keep
NoDQ.com/merch to get shirts like this, and then go over to X.com if you dare at NoDQ_Virtue. You are looking at the main event of next year's WrestleMania right there. That's it for Big G, for Jeff Meacham, for Aaron Rift, and the whole NoDQ crew and galaxy. I am Virtue. Good night, everybody. See you in 2 weeks from tonight.
Oh, wait.
No. He made it in on time.
Oh, my God.
Sorry, Ian. I'm trying to untie me out, but it won't happen. I'm sorry, brother.
So 26.2 miles outside Parts Unknown sent in a $10 super chat. Big G's like, He's like,
I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm good.
Aaron, can you give me a peek behind the no DQ curtain on this? What's the deal with Rift Aronson? You look bothered when someone brings him up. What happened? Why don't you like doing it anymore? Well, okay, here's what happened. He was an alter ego. You look at Eminem, Marshall Mathers, Slim Shady, they're all alter egos. And Rift Aronson is like, the darkest part of me. And in Portland, Oregon, he came out and things got very, very messy. Mm-hmm. And he literally destroyed my office. This was May of 2019. You can look it up on YouTube on my channel. Find the video. It's like the end of May 2019. He trashed my office. Like it was just in complete disarray. I think I even posted a photo on Twitter. I had to leave Oregon because of it.
It was scary. It was legitimately scary.
I literally moved to Michigan. Rift Aronson, his spirit has been in Portland, Oregon since 2019. And we're keeping him there. He's never going to appear in Michigan. He hasn't been able to locate me, thankfully.
If you
He's
ever
cool.
saw the movie Me, Myself, and Irene, you might get an idea of what Rift Aronson is.
Exactly.
Yeah, Aaron was so fearful. He has never been that fearful of his life in his own office
Oh my
before. But he was so fearful for his own life, he had to flee halfway across the country. It's terrible.
I had to pack up everything and move across country to Michigan just to get away from Rift Aronson once and for all. So that's why he's not coming
Scary,
back.
man.
If I ever step foot in Portland,
right.
then, you know, if you believe in ghosts,
That's your
there
bet.
might be a possibility that he shows up. But anyways, we're in overtime now. Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat, said, why did Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill lose the tag team titles? So Alba Fire and
I don't know.
Dawn could win it in their home country. I think that's pretty much the only reason it happened. I can't think of another good reason for why that happened. But thank you for that, Psycho Jet Black. And Psycho Jet Black also sent in a $2 super chat and says, Aaron, have you played Oregon Trail, the game? Yes, I did. And what's that disease that everybody dies of in the game? How do you pronounce it?
Dysentery.
Yes, I died from that more times than I would like to admit. But yes, I did beat that game. It was a fun game. I enjoyed it. And I think you can play it online. Like if you do a Google
They're
search.
coming out with it's a version on Switch. It might even be out already.
Oh, well,
Updated, yeah.
I think I will have to play that then because it was a fun game. It's a good strategy game, and I like shooting the buffalo. Like that was my favorite part of the game when you have to hunt and kill the buffalo. That was great stuff. And then This Guy Experience sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you for that. It says, what year do you think Bobby Lashley should go into the Hall of Fame? I think whenever he's going to be the headliner. I mean, if they got a lot of people they're thinking of, I would wait. But I mean, do you guys have any preference? Like, is there like a specific year that he should go in?
Next 5 years.
5 years from now. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe
If
5
they
years.
if they ever do WrestleMania in Colorado,
Oh, there you go. Like Denver.
because he's from Denver, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure, why not?
Yeah.
Denver, or maybe 5 years from now. It doesn't need to happen immediately in the near future. 5 to 10 years down the line, when you need a top spot in the Hall of Fame, get him in. But yeah, I 100% expect to see him in. All right. So on that note, I think we're ready to wrap it up. Virtue, anything else?
Nope. Good night, everybody. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Peace out.
Sound like a
Later.
robot. All right, we're off the air.
All right.
Okay, good.
That turned
Bye.
out
Beep,
good.
beep. That's also
The first 30 minutes were dead, and it ramped up. So good show.